those who have signed out. I will share some reminders when we get to that portion of the meeting. Also, please note that all board meetings are live streamed and posted on the school board area of the website. And we'll begin with our citizenship award, Mr. Cooper.
Welcome for high school options. I am presenting on behalf of Bailey Estrella, who is our citizenship student of the month. Bailey's been an option student since her 7th grade year in 2020. She spent a few terms in person during that time, and I wish she could be here because she's very polite and respectful, and you can see that. During the pandemic, she struggled with the middle school classes, but she has bootstrapped herself through her hard work ethic, and her scores have steadily improved during high school. She finishes all courses on time. She still enjoys work babysitting for family members and practicing beautician skills, as well as spending social time with friends. And she plans to attend beauty school after high school to work on nails. So somewhere around, you probably see a shingle for Bailey. Thanks.
All right, we'll stand for the.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, right. Moving along, I believe we have one public comment tonight. That's from Owen Boots. Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
You come right up there. But I sit down.
make yourself comfy.
Hello, my name is Owen Booth. I'm currently a senior at Elmira High School and also an outdoor school counselor. I was captain of the varsity soccer team at the high school for 2 years, and I'm currently a leader on the track and field team. Recently, I've seen a lot of outrage for allowing a transgender student to become an outdoor school counselor. Transgender and LGBTQIA people have always existed, not only in this program, in the school, but in the world. Speaking to other counselors about their opinion on letting this transgender student participate, all said that it was no different from having another student in their place. I've never attended a school board meeting, but I felt that it was absolutely necessary to voice my support today after I saw the outrage that our small community has shown to a fellow peer. My family and I moved here 10 years ago, and I immediately felt welcomed by the small community. I'm ashamed to say the community has betrayed some of its own members who have helped contribute to make the community so great. These people need to be appreciated, shown the same respect you give anyone else, treated as what they are, another member of the community. Thank you.
Oh, excuse me for a moment, please. Can you please read back to me those first two sentences?
Yes. Hello, my name is Owen Booth. I'm currently a senior at Elmira High School and also an outdoor school counselor. I was captain of the varsity soccer team at the high school for 2 years, and I'm currently a leader on the track and field team. Recently, I've seen a lot of outrage for allowing a transgender student to become an outdoor school counselor.
Yes, please.
Transgender and LGBTQIA people have always existed, not only in this program, in this school, but in the world. Speaking to other counselors about their opinion on letting this transgender student participate.
Okay, so can I stop you, please? Okay, but just one more time, okay? So I want to know, what are you doing public comment about exactly? I understand it's about outdoor school, transgenders, things like that. But what exactly about the trans student?
I'm voicing my support. I believe that they should be allowed to do everything else that another student should. They shouldn't be not allowed to just because of who they are.
So they should not be allowed to do what?
Just not participate because of who they are.
Okay, are they participating?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
I would like to address the board. Unfortunately, I put in a public comment this morning. I did not have service. I had
Okay.
a blackout at my house. As soon as I got service, when I realized it did not go through, I messaged Scriber at 2 o'clock.
Okay,
I have a
Like-
copy, I do have a copy.
excuse me.
I have a copy of the draft that was sent. I have a screenshot I'm happy to show you. And then I
At this
raised,
time, your submission did not get in on time. We're moving forward. Thank you.
because I didn't have service.
We don't know what your reasons are. But as we say, 1 o'clock, it wasn't in, we're moving forward. You can join us next week or the next board
Unfortunately,
meeting.
I wanted to speak about outdoor school and the kids will be leaving the outdoor school before the next
Okay.
school board meeting.
So like I said, we're moving forward. Andrew,
Emailers.
Andrew, we're moving forward. Thank you.
Because there's not enough time.
Thank
There's
you.
30 minutes allotted in
Thank
public
you.
comments.
Okay.
No, you're allowing a boy, a transgender
Thank
boy,
you.
a biological
Can we
female.
continue our meeting?
And a cabin with fifth grade boys. We're
Okay,
not disagreeing that the should not be able to be in outdoor
all
school.
right.
And I
We
have
need to
respect
move
for what they're
forward with
doing.
our meeting, please. Be respectful, or you can leave. One of the options.
I was not a public speaking.
We have an agenda to follow. She did not submit her request in time. Okay, it's been publicized that we're having this meeting. She has time. She didn't have to wait for today to submit it. It says it needs to be in at 1. It was not received, our secretary is here, by 1. We're moving forward. Okay, if every one of you guys came in and said, oh, I wanted to put mine in and it didn't come in,
And if
we
you
would
have
be
that
sitting
public
here
comment,
for a
I
while.
shouldn't hear
You
something
have an
else.
option to submit it next month.
Barbara, you can adjourn the meeting if you'd like.
Okay, you can submit it next month.
Which will be after the kids have gone to the meetings for the school.
Just send something to the board.
I think this is the school board.
What's that? You can email anything
We
to
are
the school
moving
board.
forward
If
with
anybody
our
ever has
meeting.
problems in the future, of not
Okay.
getting something in, feel free to call us before 1, we can set something up.
I would like to leave this with you, will you please disperse it between the school board?
Thank you.
It's all for I get my public, have to do my public comment.
Okay. Appreciate it. Okay, we'll continue.
Will we be able to get copies of those, please?
There's a copy for each school board.
You can have it
Great, thank you.
when we're done, okay? Let's move forward.
Excuse me, one minute, I'd like to make a comment, please. Okay. I just want to say thank you. And thank you very much for coming to speak and giving us your opinions. And I'm really sorry that we are not listening to you tonight. Thank you.
And 30 minutes is 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes is 30 minutes.
All right, as we move forward, we have approval of the minutes from last month. Get a motion to approve. the
I'll make a motion to approve the work session, regular session, minutes as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion regarding this? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, we have 5-0. Thank you. Corner, we're ready for you on the enrollment when you get a chance.
All right, I'm here. I'll wait for her to pull it up. All right, this is our enrollment as of April 1st. Our in-district enrollment was at 1,286, which is 2 over our budgeted numbers. At the elementary level, we are down by 2. The middle school level, we are up by 27. And then at the high school level, we are down by 23. We also have 6 more out-of-district placements than was projected in the budget. And that's all I have on the enrollment report, unless the board has any questions on it.
Not hearing any questions here.
Okay.
We'll move on to the general fund.
All right, this is our general fund and revenue expense report as of March 31st. We've received 87% of our budgeted revenue. Last year at this time, we were at 93%. Like I've mentioned in the previous meetings, we had received a large chunk of federal forest revenue. So that's mostly the difference there. We have spent 60% of our operating expenditures. Last year, we were at 60% at this time as well. March is one of our more expensive months due to the triple option pay for the licensed staff. So you'll see the expenses were quite a bit higher than prior months. And that's all I have on that, unless the board has any questions.
Not hearing any questions, and
All
this
right.
is part of board action, so. Can we have a motion?
I move that we accept the general fund revenue and expenditure report for the period ending March 31st.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, we got 5 ayes. Sawyers?
Well, Scott, I was just texting with him. He's supposed to be on here, but I don't know what's come up, so I'll just jump in. Yeah, there's 2 attachments to the board agenda on our most recent bids. Oh, they're pulling it in.
Yeah.
Hang tight just 1 second. Okay, there he is. Scott, I was just introducing the 2 documents you created around the 2 bids, one for mechanical systems and one for 2G construction on the Veneta gym package in Elmira High School science. But I'll let you expand on that information.
All right, thank you. Which item is first on the agenda?
Mechanical improvements.
Mechanical improvements? Okay, excellent. So in the, good evening. So in the package that I've provided you for this particular item, for the mechanical upgrades, the budget for this section of the mechanical upgrades was 1.2 million. The district publicly advertised on March 26th for this work and conducted a public walkthrough on March 31st and opened bids on April 9th. 4 bids were received. You can see the outline there. 3 of the 4 bids were within our budget. Alliance Systems was the apparent low. I reviewed them for both responsiveness and responsibility. They meet the state evaluation criteria. This would come out of what we call work package number 3 for mechanical upgrades, as was approved. That delineation for the 4 work packages was approved by the board last summer. And we are recommending award to Alliance Systems, not only because they're apparent low and they were deemed both responsive and responsible, but they also have a lot of familiarity with the district's facilities as they provide services in the past. So with that, we're making a recommendation to award and enter into contract for the 2025 mechanical upgrades at the amount of $924,629.
It's only board action.
Okay. Can we have the board motion to approve or not?
I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation of Alliance Systems contract for $924,620.
We have a motion on the table. We have a second. We have a motion and second. Any discussions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, we have 5 ayes.
And then the second request for award tonight is for interior renovations work at Veneta Elementary School and Elmira High School. It is both those projects are combined under a single contractor for summer 2025. The Veneta Elementary work is upgrade of the restrooms adjacent to the library, and those are being gutted and remodeled, and including finishes, fixtures, and we are changing the configurations as well to provide a staff restroom in addition to gendered restrooms for both girls and boys. And we are increasing the overall toilet sink count by 1 each. We are also upgrading the gymnasium, replacing the original flooring there, as well as dealing with acoustics, basketball hoops, the ceiling system, finishes, and then we are also adding 4 rows of bleachers. And at Elmira High School, we are renovating 4 science labs, 4 Three of them will remain science lab. The fourth one will be a general education classroom. And that remodeling is including all finishes, cabinetry, and plumbing, as well as fume hoods. We received 5 bids. The project was was advertised on March 26th, same as the other project. Pre-bid walk was held on April 1st. Bids were opened April 16th. And again, we received 5 bids. In this case, all 5 bids were actually within our budget. So we're recommending award to the lowest responsible bidder, in this case, 2G Construction. They are located in Lane County. And this would be awarded with bond proceeds under work package number 2 for classrooms and restrooms. Please note that this is the first phase of a 2-summer project. Next summer will be the middle school renovations to science, restrooms, maker spaces. So we are recommending, because this is within our $1.7 million budget, which was just the phase 1 budget, recommending award this evening for 2G Construction for $1,202,000.
Thank you, Scott.
Mhm.
As regarding board action,
I'll make a motion to award 2G Construction. The bid is presented for $1,202,000.
and we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes.
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you. We will get them underway. I appreciate it.
He's online.
She's online, okay. Amy, you're up.
Good evening, and thanks for having me. So Bree, you're sharing it?
Yep. Can you hear me?
All right. So my name is Amy Hand. I am one of the family support employees for the school district. I work with students K-12. I want to honor Owen right now. Thank you for speaking up with your bravery. I wanted to update the board here on our current projects and what we've been doing with the Family Resource Center. So we can move to the next slide. We have been running our 12-week program for Make Parenting a Pleasure, which happens weekly at Veneta Elementary School right now. We do it twice a year, and that's been going great with 6 families involved. We have a full year 4-H OSU partnership where we've been bringing 4-H STEAM programs to each elementary school for students K-5, with 20 students attending each session per school, so a total of 120 students for the whole school year. We are working with Daisy Chain, which is a nonprofit from Eugene, doing Sing and Sign and Nursery Nook at the library for our pre-K community members. About 10 families arrive at that every Tuesday that it's held. We are doing a free diaper program with Lane County Diaper Bank. We have been doing that for 2 years now. Last year in 2024, we gave out 15,000 diapers to members of the community. This is our 3rd year running with the partnership with Applegate Regional Theater for a prom and formal wear rental program for students of our high school that need a little extra help getting to prom. We are in our reapplication process to the Healthy Families Grant, which we were awarded last year with the YARG Foundation, and that's pretty exciting. It looks like that's moving forward nicely. A new partnership, through our partnership with United Way, we have been awarded transportation flex funding to come in and support members of our community who need help with car repairs or a car seat or a stroller, a bicycle, things that can help them get around more easily when they're having barriers to getting around. Next one. So these are some pictures from the our STEAM program, really great fun with these kids. You can go again. And here's pictures of Heather and I doing different events in the community, the Harvest Festival each year, and the kindergarten registration. Really fun to get out there and make connections in the community. Some of the things that we've also been doing are Soccer Tots and Little Explorers, a partnership with TSP, and getting soccer balls in front of 2 and 3-year-olds and helping them learn teamwork and how to follow instructions. And so that has been a joy to watch that unfold. We did one in the spring break and it was really successful. We are continuing our funding stream here. We've continued working with the United Way of Lane County. They support our pre-K programs, parent education, and kits. We have received the Brady Grant for 3 years in a row. We were awarded a generous grant through the ARG Foundation. We've applied for and received our grant funding from the Roundhouse and the Otson Foundations for the 2nd year in a row. We're continuing to work with OEA Foundation to apply for grants specific to individual students each year. We got the master class grant and was able to offer that to our employees, and they can take extra classes and learn more about things that interest them to bring to their students, which is really great. We just received a generous gift from the Kiwanis Club of Veneta. They are coming in to support the purchasing of undergarments for students in need, K-12. So that's been pretty great. This is kind of a graph of our funding. You can see how much work we've been doing and what we've been bringing in. We anticipate the funding to go down a little next year. We're splitting our next grant cycle with the YARG Foundation into 2 pieces, I believe. We're finalizing that in the next month. Some of the things that we've also been taking care of is we've been really working with 2 different parent education providers. Make Parenting a Pleasure, which is really geared for parents with children under the age of 8, and then Collaborative Problem Solving, which really works with teens and preteens and high school parents. It's they're really great modalities that dovetail nicely together. Some of the other things that we're doing is we partner with Food for Lane County to distribute our diapers during the free summer lunch program. We've expanded the daisy chain to do lactation support. We did, as I said before, launched our Firmage soccer tots. We have established really good relationships with a Family for Every Child and 15th Night to help meet some of the needs of our unhoused teens. Our relationship with Midlane Cares has been one of the most beneficial to the free store at the high school, which has been a wild success, and contributing to helping people in need in the community. They're a great resource, as I'm sure you all know. You can go on. These are some pictures of the daisy chain sing and sign, which is lovely. All these little kids learn how to sing songs and sign language at the same time. And here is a little bit more about what we've been doing. We've established 2 times a week. We do drop-in hours at the Firmage Family Resource Center housed at Veneta Elementary. Families can come in, they can get clothes, they can get diapers, they can get lactation support, they can get baby baths, and they can also get access to resources. We have a great amount of information about what's available from Catholic Community Services, from ODHS, just a wealth of information there. We were able to connect a bunch of families with the Lane ESD's Agile Funding Grant, which came in support for people. The Health-Related Service Needs Grant helped people who have health-related needs do things like an air conditioner or a heater, or things that would support their health. If they were in fragile health, could support them. We continued to receive Walmart gift cards and sent them to over 100 families in our district around the holiday season. With our partnership with Midlane Cares, we were able to provide Thanksgiving meal boxes to some of our needy families in the area. And yeah, we did a Back to Youth youth empowerment program at the middle school it was like an outdoor school class in the fall, which was really wonderful. And we can move on. This is a picture of the inside of the rooms at Veneta Elementary. And a little snapshot of what it looks like in our parenting groups of Make Parenting a Pleasure. Upcoming, we will be, we provide the parent education component for the KIDS program. We will have a daisy chain, will continue through the summer. We are partnering right now with the Oregon Department of Health and Human Services. They have family coaches that work with needy families. Generally, those families need to go into Eugene to meet with their family coach, and we are bringing a family coach to the district, so families do not need to get into Eugene to talk to their family coach. And that's going to be a reduction of a barrier for these people who are some of the more needy in our population. We are continuing our partnership with Lane County Diaper Bank. We're going to do the soccer tots again. We're already starting to make plans for collaborative problem solving in the fall and make parenting a pleasure. We will continue to work with the YARG Foundation and the United Way Family Resource Center funding. And we are exploring how to continue with the OSU 4-H STEAM program for after school. And there's a little pictures of the high school free store, which is really wonderful. And some of our long-term plans, we would love to find an accessible permanent physical location to allow us to begin, expand, and consolidate our programs and services. Right now we are up some stairs, which does provide hardships for some of our guests. I would like to explore bringing a mentorship program in for middle school students and support funding for more community programs and opportunities. We're looking at ukulele lessons in the summer with Miss Jenny and continue to explore ways to bring more community support services to Fernridge. Should be one more. If you want to know more, here is my and Heather's contact information. We are here to help all members of the community. And that, you know, we've had a really wonderful community event in March, and we had seniors come because Senior Disability Services were there, and it was just really wonderful to see so many people come together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Amy.
Bonita Elementary School report. Dawn.
Hello, thank you for having me. I'll wait for the slides. For those of you that don't know me, I'm the new principal at Bonita Elementary, and I'm glad you guys are all here voicing your commitment to our district. And it is a pleasure. So Bonita Elementary, this is a little bit of the data or stats from our elementary. We have 331, it was 332, I had to down one of those. And there's 15 different classrooms from gen ed to also the structured learning center and 46 staff members that include anything that helps us run. And this one I had to explain with a little bit of a definition. Our percent of regular attenders by grade level, it looks rather dimming if you look at the percent. So I had to tell you that in order to be a regular attender, you have to come 90%. And that's rather hard, especially with all of the sicknesses that have been going around. So those numbers are not actually terrible. I think in average, we run about, we're in the 80s as far as our average.
What period is that?
What
period is that number?
That's not a period because it's for, oh, from now, from the beginning of the school until today. Yeah. And this is from our state testing assessments last year. And I put it in red and green so you can see where we stand as a school and also versus the state. And so in our ELA, third grade is at 48%, which is higher than the state. Fourth grade, 49%, higher than the state. Fifth grade, we can work on that because that's the one red area is our English language. And that's 38, whereas the state's at 48. As far as math, we are all in the green from 58% for third grade, fourth grade, 54, and then 31% for fifth grade, but that's still right there with the state. And then fifth grade does the science assessment, and we are in the green because we're above state in that as well. I feel sorry for you guys. You're like right behind me.
No problem.
So I'm blocking, so I'll move over just for now. A day in the life of a Bonita Elementary student is fun and exciting. Before school, they come 25 minutes early by bus or get dropped off, and you can eat breakfast. You You can go outside and play and also go to the library where there's arts for them to do as well. And here are some pictures of them doing just that, arriving from the bus, coming into a staff that greets them with open arms and a welcoming smile, and people that genuinely care. You can see some fifth graders that are doing some of the jobs that they have as student advisors as well. For ELA, they have 90 minutes where we focus on that. It doesn't mean that it's not used throughout the day in other areas, but there's a focus of 90 minutes. Go ahead. And here are some teachers doing an amazing job in first grade, second grade. You can see some students that are buddy reading or doing peer-to-peer reading, and really small groups as well. When this one makes me smile every time I think about it, because it's what I need. And we all need something a little bit different. And I remember asking my fifth grade students one time, we are gonna do what I need when? And I said, what do you need? And they said, I need to do yoga right now. And I said, well, then you go ahead and do that right now. It was the introduction of it. So anyways, but the focus really is academics and what they need to succeed and actually become better students. Go ahead. And here are some of the title rooms, resource rooms, the SLC room, and students doing language arts, but also art as well. And so there's lots of fun ways for them to actually grow. And those are the ways. Mathematics, it's 60 to 75 minutes in core, but you can use math really in lots of different ways. You can use it in just science as well. And so that's just the math that we use. And next slide. Here are some of the students doing math and just learning how to love it. I always say, as a former fifth grade teacher, that if you don't get the students loving math by the time they get to middle school, it's downhill, because you really want them to learn it, because math gets harder. And all of the students that are here, I appreciate you guys all being here, but it does. Is it harder than fifth grade math or third grade math? But yeah, so we want to get them to love it. Social emotional learning is a huge part of our school, and that is why, and for others, I brought these little frogs for you, because if you're wondering what they are, I'm going to tell you. So next slide, we do Kelso's Choice, and Kelso is a frog, and you can see our behavioralist right here showing the students what Kelso would do in situations that are maybe hard. Maybe some adults here might need Kelso to teach you how to kind of go about things. So it's about how you can walk away from situations that might be tough, how you can actually speak up, how you can actually do something else, how you can get an adult to help, and things like that. So all the board, you have your own little Kelso to just say, hey, remember to make the right choice. Physical ed, it's always been a fun one for me. I love teaching it before we even had enough hours for a PE teacher. So Mr. Green does an amazing job, both volunteering and doing things at the high school, but also here. Here he is teaching some students how to actually have good sportsmanship, but also how to just learn new skills. And if you click on the health miles, one of the things that we do is we walk around the track. And this shows you about how many miles as a school we have done, which is 2,763 and 2,500ths of a mile, which that's the equivalent of if you were to swim to Hawaii, or my son lives in New York, it's a little bit over New York. So we've walked all the way across the whole United States. And you can see who's in the lead. Okay. And science and social studies. I have some great pictures to show you of students really using science and doing hands-on learning. So now for you to see. We did volcanoes, so second graders were able to go outside and actually see them, you know, explode and come up and build together and work with family members to do this. So it was really fun and engaging for the students, and it really made it come to life. Lunch and recess usually is the #1 activity that students love. If you said, what's your favorite subject, they would say recess and lunch. And 30 minutes is what they get, which is 15 minutes for eating and 15 minutes for lunchtime. Here's some activities that they like to do. You can see we have a Gaga ball, and that is the area that gets the most controversial. It's just, that's drama. That whole area is drama, but boy, do they love it. And boy, do I know how to get them to, I can get them out. So anyways, but we also have some great dribblers. You can see they're going to be in the NBA very soon. And we also have those that like to hang. And then we also have the cafeteria where our staff does an amazing job of providing healthy, nutritious food for our students that really enjoy eating it for free and reduced right now. Other special activities are, I'm going to show you the pictures and talk about it. We just had you can see the pumpkin patch over here. We had our auction night, and we had some food carts and shave ice. We had a kind of a obstacle course bouncing. And then our pals did an amazing job of doing this for our community. And one of them is right here personally. We had an egg hunt this last Saturday, so I updated this. The community came together and really brought 6,000 eggs to the entire school. And lots of students from 1, which was the cutest, watching them try and pick up those eggs and then not want that, but want the pink one. And then we had through 10-year-olds, and there was a few 12-year-olds that went through that were actually my past students that were here. And so it was fun to see them. For our student advisors in 5th grade, we select them every kind of 2 semesters. And they help do lots of things. You can see some of the students helping with raising the flags, learning how to fold it in the correct way. You can see myself with my silly hair that day. And the thing that they got to learn a little bit today was about how we should lower it at half-staff just because of the loss of the public day. And we have smart readers. Well, they could go in many different ways. Smart reading, but we have smart readers that help our young ones become the smartest learners that they can by reading, because it really is going to help them throughout their life. They're great volunteers. And for OBOB, we did amazing. You can see the Thunder Nerds. We also had another group that was something nerds, because nerds will rule the world at some point. And we were 3rd place in all of Lane County. And I don't know if that's the highest we've ever been, but it is great. And I would love to go even further next year. Great volunteers to help. We have ukulele, like Amy was talking about. And it's so amazing. I had to include a video, because if you haven't stepped in a kindergarten class as they are learning how to play, this is what you would see. And take a listen. Yes. Those are cute. Those are cute. Partners. So you will find me in there every so often learning some songs as well.
Thank you.
And I think
Yeah, it's there.
okay, next slide. And assemblies and spirit days, it makes elementary fun. I just got pied and they were so excited. Except for, I feared the 3rd through 5th. I didn't fear the kinder through 2nd. They actually left a mark on my nose. And so now I know to fear the kindergartners because they throw those things. So, but it was fun. Next one. And PALS, like I said, does an amazing job. The most recent on the lower left is them going to those that had raised some money for the school. They went to Divide today and they were able to jump, get all their energy out, and their parents will thank us later. And that is it. So I don't know if you do any questions. This is what Lisa had done last year. So if you have any questions, I would be more, but I know that we're on a time limit.
Thank you.
That's it. So for anybody else, I'll pass it through. You can take one of these when you leave. You can also take a mint. This is here for state testing. This is how we get the kids to survive. Jolly Ranchers. Mints.
Appreciate it. Thank you. All right, moving on. We have our Frederick Education Association is Jennifer.
Yep, well, we actually have 3 of us who are gonna present. We have Mary with elementary and Deborah with middle school, and then I'll share about the high school.
Awesome.
Wow,
You've heard so much about what's going on. It's just really incredible, isn't it? I was blown away by the Family Resource Center activities.
Yeah.
Yes.
So at Elmira, I did a read recently, and each child was given a book through the PTA at the end of that. We also do these character months, and this month was honesty, and so kids will get recognized specifically for being honest. And so as adults, we try not to say if we saw something, did you X? We say, I saw you do that. Do you want to tell us why? And so, and when they're honest, we can say, thank you for telling us all about that. Okay, next slide. There was a magician. I was not there for the magician, but apparently the adults were droning and the kids were howling. And also, Miss Jen, as you all know, or may know, has been all over our community teaching ukulele. She does it at Veneta and she does it at Elmira. And this is a group at Elmira. Okay. At Veneta, they had their auction that they mentioned. And that incredible artwork that's all over the primary wing. I don't know, was they studying Georgia O'Keeffe? Does someone know? Anyway, they have these great, big, beautiful flowers and they're really pretty. Dawn talked about their Bob. There was recently a talent show, and coming right up is Earth Day. Well, you learned about the Easter egg hunt, is Earth Day. They're also doing the Patricia Gallagher Book Awards, where what happens is there are a number of books that each classroom reads to all of the students. And then the students in that room select the one they like best, and those get tallied at the state level, and those become the Patricia Gallagher Award books. So Veneta is doing that. It's really fun, and then you get a set of them for your classroom. Yeah.
that's me. Deborah's way, Greenwich Middle School. So we have a number of students who don't actually maybe participate in sports, or maybe they don't feel comfortable with some of the other activities that so many of our students enjoy. And so our counselor has put together Dungeons and Dragons Club with the goal that these students learn teamwork, leadership, communication, problem solving, and building a resume around what they learned while they're playing Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah. We also have our student versus staff basketball fundraiser, which was a success. If you base that on how much fun and screaming and yelling and running was involved, which was much joy. Also, Mr. Cannon's choir class singing the national anthem really did a fabulous job this year. They are coming a long way in developing their voice skills, so that was fun to have that start our program. We had raffles, dodgeball, a bunch of other fun events. They got to, families and students got to buy points, and they also bought, what did they call that? They had to wear like a floaty, who was it? No. They had to, like, a teacher had to wear a floaty or something, some kind of props.
So they had mitts.
Yeah, exactly. Anything that would get in the way, and they had to wear it for a certain amount of time. So they loved watching that. We need more of those next year because there just weren't enough to go around for all that they wanted to spend on those. There was a cakewalk. We did learn this year that the cakes should be picked up later. Anyway, I think that's it for information. Thank you.
All right, high school. I'm sure you guys saw parents were supposed to go out, but 14 of our welding students obtained the AWS welding certification, and that was in partnership with Lane ESD and Airgas, where they brought in a couple of welding engineers and a master welder to kind of assist with the whole evaluation process. And so we're just very proud of our CTE classes and the welding students who earned this certification. And then next on the left, state testing is actually beginning tomorrow for our juniors. So that's for language arts, science, and math. Just to demonstrate their proficiency, demonstrate essential skills kind of across other juniors in the county and state. And if you recall from the end of October last year, the 23-24 juniors, which now are seniors. So some of the parents I see in the crowd and some of the students here who are now seniors, in every single area, science, language arts, and math, we were first out of 16 Lane County school districts. And so we're just really proud of that and are looking forward to seeing the success with the juniors this year. And then on the right, over the past few weeks, there are 8 of us teachers who go to LCC and continue our articulation meetings to offer these free courses for students to earn college credit in high school. So anywhere from the CTE to human body systems to my upper level Spanish classes to writing 121. It's just a great opportunity that we offer to students. So we're just proud of that. And then Mary is going to talk about the OEA-RA. That just happened this weekend up in Portland. So I did not attend, but Mary did. So Mary.
So Desiree Wright, running from the high school, and I were the team that represented Fern Ridge Education Association. This is the largest democratic deliberative body in the state, representing 43,000 educators. And this is a record. We had 816 delegates. It's a record number at RA. Fern Ridge, our association, was recognized for 90 to 95% are part of our local, and 80% of our new hires joined us. We voted on many things, bylaws, legislative objectives, resolutions, which are basically our value statements. And let me see it. Oh, we adopted our very first policy statement. And on contrast, just so you know, NEA has 9 of them, and OEA now has 1. We voted on 17 new business items, and that's the most exciting part of RA. And that's where the delegates can present items for the delegation to approve or not. And it gets very lively and a lot of fun. And we have a cap of $100,000 that we spend on delegates' ideas for making Oregon Education Association a better place or a better organization. We elected officers this year, president and vice president, equity director, and an NEA director. So the NEA director goes to Washington a couple times a year and actually meets with our federal representatives. And The equity director works on equity throughout the state for educators. It was really fun. And there's our selfie. So two of us were the representatives and two of us were, what is it, credentials? Is that what it's called? Yeah. Pete and Deborah were the credentials, so they were there. So we did a selfie on the floor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on. Are you guys ready? All right, who's going first? JT?
I have a comment from a student, if I may read it.
It's your presentation.
So, earlier today, after hearing a lot of the comments from the community, I was kind of preparing for a lot of hateful public comments. Luckily, we didn't get any today. But I did ask the student in question, the transgender student that will be attending outdoor school, to write me a statement so they could address the hate speech that was going to be coming for them. So I will now speak for them based on what they sent me. In response to the uninformed hate comments, I wish they would take a step back and realize that all of their speculations are untrue and baseless. They jump to conclusions based on hating what they don't understand. They accuse a literal child of pedophilia. They hide behind anonymous usernames because they have no spine to declare their opinions on a child's sexuality. And by removing their child from outdoor school because there is someone who is different is discrimination. You are teaching your child to hate those who are different from you. And you, not me, are ruining their experience. On top of that, you are verbally assaulting someone whom you don't even know. It is insane that you think a trans child is a pervert when the 35 to 50-year-old actual adults are talking about a child's genitals. What about the campers who are trans? Are they predators as well? Or do you think they do not exist? Because unfortunately for you, they do. No counselor, straight, cis, gay, or trans, changes clothes with the campers or watches them dress. There are separate private places to change clothes. I have a question. What if it was your child? What if it was your child who was being cyberbullied by adults? Would you hate your child? Or is it because it's not you? You feel like you can hate a child behind a screen because you think there are no consequences. I hope you are embarrassed. Direct your anger at someone who has actually done something wrong. So I hope that addresses some of the public concerns and some of the probably future public comments. But for what we originally planned on talking about, some of our past items at Amara High School, they covered it in the last presentation, but 14 students of all grade levels earned their welding certifications on April 3rd. The valedictorian and salutatorian were announced, which was Fern and I. Earlier this month, sophomore Penny Corden won this year's If I Were Mayor contest for the city of Anita.
Oh, cool.
She will be honored at the city council work session next Monday, and now she will be considered for the statewide competition. The Fern Ridge Chamber of Commerce Distinguished Service Awards were announced. They were given to Junior Jake Van Dam for Emerging Future First Citizen. Fern was recognized as the Future First Citizen. Senior Mele Tatura was honored as the Community Builder. Mark over here was the Volunteer of the Year. And EHS English teacher Mrs. Nelson was honored as the Educator of the Year. For sports, some sports updates, softball, the Falcons are coming off of a 4-game winning streak, bringing their record to 6-5 and their league record to 3-0. Their 2 most recent games, they shut out Lapine 15-0 and then followed it up against Lapine again 16-1. Their next game will be at Sisters tomorrow. For baseball, the Falcon boys currently have a league record of 0-3 and an overall record of 5-8. The team is mainly underclassmen though, with only 2 seniors. So this is a big development season for a lot of the younger players. They'll be headed to Sisters tomorrow as well. For track and field, the team recently earned 55 personal records at the Harrisburg Invitational on Thursday. Junior Marvin Hambrick placed first in the long jump at Harrisburg. Senior Kyler Caldwell placed first in the 100-meter at Harrisburg. Senior Jude Carmen, who I told you about competing at state for cross country, placed 4th in the 3K at the Roseburg Invitational. And the team will be headed to Marist tomorrow. Like it was mentioned in the previous presentation as well, state testing for juniors begins tomorrow. However, those in AP Lit will take the test those in AP Lit will take the state test the day after their AP test. That way they can be all finished up before outdoor school, and that way the state test doesn't interrupt their AP schedule and preparing for their AP test. The leadership will be having a field trip this weekend, Saturday and Monday. The students will be heading to Seaside to attend the Oregon Association of Student Councils Spring Conference with the theme Launching into Leadership. The conference aims to take student council programs to new heights. The Rotary Citizens of the Month were announced today and will be honored May 1st. They were seniors Keelan Hecker, Hannah Humphrey, and Jude Carmen.
Then continuing to the future events, we have AP test on May. Students currently enrolled in the AP English Literature and Composition class will be taking their AP test on Wednesday, May 7 at 8 a.m. really early. And then students working on AP Physics 1 as an independent study will be taking their AP test on Friday, 16 at 8 a.m. as well. And then people who pass the test with a score of 3 or more out of the 5-point scale will be eligible to get college credit. And then this year, the AP testing experience looks a little different for both of the courses offered. It's the first year that EHS students will be experiencing the AP tests completely digitally. In previous years, the paper version was used. Then at prom, it will happen May 10th, and it will be held at the U of L Ford Alumni Center from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. The theme for this year's prom is A Night in Greece. Prom tickets will go on sale April 28th, and the last day to purchase them will be May 7th. As Amy told us about, Applegate Regional Theater is holding up prom open house as an opportunity for students in the area to rent formal wear for the event. The EHS government or leadership class has been listening to the requests and suggestions of the student body in order to make prom a rewarding experience for everyone at the school. Then we also have the NHS banquet on May 12th. Each year, the NHS banquet is held at Meyer High School to welcome the new members of the volunteering club. New members and their parents or guardians are able to experience the induction ceremony, which is really exciting. It's a great tradition that we have. And it also recognizes all of the seniors that are part of NHS for all their arduous work in the participation. The requirements to become an AHS member include 3.5 GPA, and once you are a member, you have to have 40 hours of community service. Then we have outdoor school, which will happen May 18 for us counselors and to May 22nd. Elmira High School counselors have been quite diligent by attending all of the outdoor school meetings for training. For the past weeks, counselors have picked their camp names, we have learned on songs, and we have started planning our field studies for the kids as well. And then to close up, we have a drama play. EHS drama class will present Sense and Sensibility, which will happen on May 31st and June 1st. The play is based on the acclaimed classic book by Jane Austen, following the story of two sisters whose lives are turned upside down after their father passes away unexpectedly, leaving them with no money and reputations at stake. And that's all we have.
Thank you. Thank you. All right.
We will move on to.
Yeah, okay. Lots of presentations tonight. This is a long one, brace yourselves. All right, so this is our integrated application presentation for 25 to 27. And what we need to do is we need to share our priorities, how we developed our plan. We can open the floor for some feedback and hopefully get board approval. This is something that I've been working on for the last year. So it's not like a small project. A little bit of background is that there are different grant funding sources through ODE, and for each thing you have to do reports, and you have these different criteria to be able to receive those, and they all have different rules. And so what ODE has done over the last 4 years is they've combined a whole bunch of them so that your community engagement efforts can reach all 9 grants. Your input surveys can reach all 9 grants. So it's kind of, it put it all in one area, which can be a lot of work for one person to manage, but it reduces the burden for asking for an input survey for 9 different things. So there's some pros and cons. So these are the 9 programs. It's the continuous improvement planning. Some of these we get actual funding for and some we don't, but we're required to work through. Everyday Matters, that's kind of our attendance focus, but we don't get $1 for that. But that's it's an ODE initiative program. Career Connected Learning, High School Success, Student Investment Account, Early Indicator and Intervention Systems, Early Literacy Success, School District Grants, Career and Technical Education, and then Federal School Improvement for Comprehensive Targeted Supports, which if you remember last month, that's not something that any of our district schools have to do. And then they have their common elements, and then they have common goals. So they've aligned them, go ahead. I won't read through all of these, but essentially your continuous improvement plan is what you're doing every year. You're looking at data and you're making your goals at the building level, at the district level. Everyday Matters is around attendance. Career Connected Learning is similar to CTE in that you're exposing kids to different career fields, whether it's job shadows, whether it's participating in the Lane County Hope Factory, making sure that they're prepared for their careers. Next one. High School Success is focused on graduation rates and dropout prevention, essentially, college and career readiness. Student Investment Account is their primary goals are around mental health, behavioral needs, and increasing academic achievement, reducing disparities for student focal groups. And then Early Indicator and Intervention System is a focus on making sure that you have data systems in place to collect data and use it to make decisions. Early literacy is new 2 years ago, and that's a focus on K2, instruction and reading. It's super targeted. There's only a few things that you can do with those dollars. Next one is CTE, Career and Technical Education, and then Federal School Improvement. Is if you aren't meeting in enough areas, you get flagged, and then they come in and tell you what you're going to do. All right. So our planning team members, it's kind of over the course of the year, it's a ton of different people, and it's really every single person that participates in those surveys. It's every single person that emails me. It's every single person that comes in and talks about our education programs, what they're loving about the schools, what they're frustrated about the schools. District administrators play a big role because they lead some of those SIP plans at the building. Each building has building leadership teams. We have staff surveys. We have our input surveys. We have our Lane ESD partners. We have partners at LCC. And then, like you heard Amy mention earlier, all of our community partners, which is a huge focus. So all of those people help make it come together. And then there are requirements around how you plan and what you do. Go ahead. So you have to use an equity lens. You have to have community engagement. You have to do a comprehensive needs assessment. You have to have a potential impact on focal students based on your activities. Development of a 4-year plan with clear outcomes, strategies, and activities. You have to have your existing plan and reflect back on that and write about what was great. So every couple months, I have to do a Q1 report, a Q2 report. I have to do journal entries and share what barriers we're facing, what celebrations we have. We have to follow recommendations from statewide Student Success Act plans. So we follow their requirements, but we also have to meet with an ODE team that walks us through our goals and planning.
And then we have to meet and review our CTE consortia. That's through LANISD. So here in a few weeks, I'll go with the team to LANISD and they'll give us a 30-page document about our CTE programs in Fern Ridge compared to CTE programs offered in Oregon, compared to Lane County, our numbers of who participates and who doesn't. And then we have to reflect on that and make goals. You have to do community engagement. So we do that through our surveys. We do that through the student health surveys, student voice opportunities. We've participated in 2 so far this year with LANISD support. Comprehensive needs assessments at the building levels, we use those. We have to post them publicly. District participation and engagement events at LCC. And that's kind of what Jennifer was talking about. College Now, how do you expand your CTE offerings? What are you doing to get kids out in the workforce? School board updates, I try to keep you guys apprised as we go along through the big things. And then our big event part of the community as well. So from our needs assessment highlights, which happens at the building level and at the district level, our data that we use is, again, from all of those input surveys. That's huge. And so I know one of the comments from one of the middle school or high school students was, what do you do with this? Why do I have to answer this every year? Well, because I read it and I make lists and I prioritize it. And so our school improvement plans, and then we have our targeted data collection that we have to review. Our 3rd grade SBAC, 9th grade on track, graduation rates, K-12 attendance. And then our big findings, which shouldn't be a surprise to anybody, is that we want to continue to focus on instructional improvement. We want to target our professional development, make sure that we're really focusing on a few things rather than everybody doing all different things that don't come together as a whole. Focusing our energy on connecting students and creating that sense of belonging in our schools so that they want to be here. And our desire to provide more varied enrichment opportunities both on and off campus. That's probably one of the biggest things that I'm hearing from both our student population and our community population is how do we do more outside of school that's enrichment. Field trips is a very specific example. It's hard to do field trips in high school because they have 7 teachers in a day. Whereas at elementary, it's one teacher that says, okay, I'm gonna lose a little bit of this instruction, but I'm gonna make up for it because it's my kids and I have them all day, every day. Our plan focuses on 3 pillars. So we have our outcomes, and that's also on our mission statement. So it's all related and tries to keep us under this, a very focused, targeted system. And ours is around relationship, rigor, and relevance. So hopefully none of that language is new to anybody because that's really our guiding light. Yep. So then within your outcomes, you have to have strategies. So we have outcome A, outcome B, outcome C, and then under each of those outcomes, we have to provide strategies. So how are we going to get to those outcomes? And they're pretty gray, but then you dial it in a little bit more. What are we going to do to get there? We're going to establish and implement a district-wide plan to ensure students and staff are known, seen, and valued. We're going to have a cohesive student support process across K-12 that includes mental, behavioral, and academic targets. We actually have a team that is presenting at LANISD next in 2 weeks. That slide deck's almost done, but about how are we reaching K-12 students in Fern Ridge? And LANISD wants to hear about it. We have our strategies that talk about our input surveys, targeted embedded mental health and behavioral supports, professional development, building capacity, and how do we expand our CTE and College Now offerings, AP classes, and then really trying to make sure that we're focusing our kids' time around well-rounded learning experiences. In a nutshell, this is not all of our activities because we have like 70, but they fall under kind of these key topics. Staffing, so all of our counselors are paid for out of this integrated plan. Our professional development, our student services, our 9th grade transition planning. So how do we make sure our middle schoolers are coming into high school and are successful from the get-go? Increase opportunity for learning experiences outside of school hours. So our after school program, some of the things that Amy talked about, and curriculum supports. Another thing that you have to have is you have to have a tiered plan. So we have all these things that we budget for and plan for, but
But then if those things don't come to fruition, you get to have this like wish list of items that can also get approved. So our wish list is long, but it's, you know, things that we already have that we want to do more. Expand CTE, FTE, right? We have a CTE teacher, but in a perfect world, if we all of a sudden came into all this money, we would want more. So all of these things aren't necessarily in our plan, but they're in our tiered plan so that once ODE approves, if we have these other dollars come up, or if something doesn't get spent all the way, we can allocate dollars to these things. The next one kind of talks about, I won't spend too much time because I know you guys have all seen this before. As the year progresses, we have to track ourselves and how our data is going against the state. And that's what's our LGPTs, longitudinal performance growth targets, LPGTs. And we also look at state CTE, like I talked about. I'm going to go to this workshop in a few weeks. So all of these different things, we have success, and we compare ourselves to our baseline, which is all kids, our gap closing, which is our focal group students, and our stretch targets, which is if we were really dialing in on this one thing, and how could we go even farther. And this just kind of talks a little bit more about the co-development. And actually this slide is a smidge outdated because ODE just came out last week and said that we don't have to co-develop new targets this year. We're going to do that next year. And I think it's partly just because people are so overwhelmed in the amount of work that it takes. They're just going to take our percentages and push them out. So if our average growth over the time was 2%, they're going to add another 2%. So they're buying themselves some time. Essentially, you look over the last 5 to 7 years and you look at the growth patterns over time, all of these different things, and then you base your goals around it. And then you have to consider how many activities, how many targeted things you're doing that are going to support those. And so some things, like if you're not spending a lot of time or energy on it, or like our 5th grade or our 5-year completers is already at 98% for graduation rates. So it's hard to get to 100%. So that's something that we don't spend a lot of time on when we're making those goals. We still talk about it, track it, look at it. But then this is a lot of words, so I won't spend a ton of time here either, but essentially, how are we understanding our success within the district? And for relationships, we're looking at student engagement and well-being. We're looking at teacher-student interaction, school climate, and support systems. What do we have in place on a daily basis that helps our teachers and students want to be here in Fern Ridge? Rigor, this is definitely an area that I always feel connected to, because I think that when you have high expectations and you're a strong teacher, kids can learn at really high levels. So how do we look at our academic achievement? How do we use our curriculum instruction at really high levels? What do we offer our kids so that they want to be here? They're not saying, hey, well, if I went there, I could do beauty school or I could do XYZ. Making sure that our kids have something that they can connect to, and then growth and improvement over time. And then the last one is relevance. This is definitely something as a mom I can connect to. How do we prepare our young adults to go to college or into the career field when they're only exposed to what they see at home, right? They know their mom was a teacher, so maybe I'll be a teacher. Their friend is a nurse. Oh, maybe I'll go be a nurse. That was really hard for me and as a parent. And so it's like, that's important. And as a district, how do we give these kids a glimpse into all the different career paths that they can go on? So then what happens next? Essentially, this is our public review and board approval. Hopefully you guys had a chance to look through this. I know it's a lot, and there's a lot of documents that help make up this 21 slide deck presentation. Looking for board approval, and then what I do is I submit to ODE, they review it, then they look at the budget, then they get back to me, and then I do all things, and then we move forward. And then obviously I come back every quarter to give you your updates. Are there any questions? I know you had a lot of questions, but hopefully I got those answers too. Yeah.
Any questions?
I have a question. So you're talking about the tracking of everything, but when I was looking at the at a glance over, the Oregon State reports for the last 25 years. You had mentioned dropout rates, and there's not a huge significant change in dropout rates since 2000 to 2005. So in the last, I mean, there was kind of a 3% rate change from there, but since in the last 20 years, there hasn't been any change really, maybe 1%, but our proficiency scores have pretty much tanked. So like, what does all this do?
Well, the out of guidance reports, you have to take in a couple things, like our Wesleyan Tech is part of that for the high school piece. So you have to take that into account. Dropout rates, how they're like calculated is a very intense, I can't even explain, that has to do with school of origin, how many credits, when they dropped out, did they get picked up by another district? So some of that data is really just hard to interpret what it looks like. Our proficiency rates as far as like what at the state testing levels.
Yeah.
So the one thing I would add is our high school is #1 in county. I know it's not great, it's not where we want to be, but out of 16 districts, you want your high schoolers here. That's what I would say.
Is the fifth grade rate so low? I would assume, because I was looking, it seems like the fifth graders were really low numbers.
They're pretty COVID impacted, so.
I was gonna say those are kind of
Yeah.
based on COVID because they missed those formative years.
Yeah, and I think
Is
even some of the
this
growth that
gonna
they've
do
made.
things, I mean, because I feel like some of those kids, and I even noticed, I talked to a lot of teachers that kindergarten, first, second grade, they missed so much impact just talking with friends, sitting down in the classrooms, they had to relearn. Are there things that this is going to help? Because when those kids get to high school, if they miss all that, high school is gonna be really, or middle school is gonna be, I mean, next year when they go to sixth grade, that's gonna be a killer for the sixth grade teachers as well as the students.
I think some of the things specific to elementary, what they're doing is the counselor's choice stuff, some of the behavioral supports, the counselors. Really specific academic wise, we have Star Renaissance, which goes through middle school. And I've talked to the board a little bit about that, but essentially kids take their 3 benchmark tests a year. And it gives you their growth projections, it gives you goals, it gives you very specific interventions. We're able to have IAs, we're able to have, I don't think we have any classroom teachers in this, but our PE teachers, you know, so that helps with class size and academic.
Is there a plan to come up to those kids, like especially, like I said, I get middle school, I guess my fear is if they're at 30%. When they get to middle school, there's a few of those kids that are probably just gonna be.
Yeah, I think the hope is that if you can create a space that the kids wanna come to school and they're here every single day. Or every day that they can be, they will be more successful. The teachers are using data, the middle school is using interventions for the first time this year. Since I've been in the district and plan to expand it next year, so I think everybody's living that right now. For sure.
Thank you.
I do need board action if we're gonna vote on it though.
Okay. Do we have a motion to?
I move that we approve the 25-27 integrated application.
We have a motion and there is a second.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Marshall.
Thank you, that's a lot, I know, thank you.
Superintendent?
Superintendent's report. I want to follow up on that. We already mentioned it. You're looking at your valedictorian and salutatorian. Congratulations to them again. Reminder, you know, for our high school students, they achieve that honor. That isn't something that, you know, at the start of their junior year, they decided, you know what, I think the ship's sailing. So the fact that they earned that, it's been from day one. I haven't looked at their cumulative GPAs, but typically they're in the 4.2 range. And so just big congratulations to you guys for earning that. Bond project update, we've had our 2 closers this past week on bids for the mechanical and the Veneta gym in the high school science classrooms. Those are going well. Track project, we're a few weeks in, lots of dirt getting moved. I check on it almost daily. We have weekly plans. If you're interested and want to look at the fine print over there on the left, that's our schedule that gets us to a completed facility, the facility there on the right. by September 5th. It's a little hard to read, but if you're interested, you can check that out. All in all, I think things are going well. The last project we'll be bidding on will be the middle school parking and back area. It's looking like in some of the shipment and delay times to get the covered play structure that we'll build back there that could expand into the start of the school year, September, October. I hope to get that finalized in the next few weeks. The last thing on the bond, I've mentioned it a few times. Board's given me the authority to continue to bargain and discuss with that house south of Anita. We made an offer just this weekend. Realtor met with a gentleman of $280,000 for that property. It's contingent on two things: one, board approval, and two, a assessment that we'll do, I think, just before the August board meeting. So you'll be able to see what it appraised at. And we're not gonna offer 280 if it only appraises for 220. But that'll be something on the agenda a little further in the fall. Remember, if we do purchase that, the plan will be to expand Veneta parking as far as all of our parking lots. Middle school, we'll get some minor improvements this year, but that was definitely the smallest. A lot of community events happen there, which result, for example, the Easter egg hunt. I'm sure there were cars parked for blocks and blocks around there because there's not enough parking. So hopefully we can come to resolution on that. Just to follow up on some of the state testing comments, a couple reminders. In districts our size, when you pick up a particular grade level, the fact that we only have 90 to 100 kids is really a big impact. If we had, let's take 4J, I would imagine their percent proficiency doesn't change much year to year because they're dealing with thousands and thousands of kids. When let's just take a particular grade, fourth grade, when that particular fourth grade makeup class has maybe a little bit higher percentage of kids that didn't attend kindergarten, maybe some new transfers in, maybe 10 more kids on IEP than the grade below them, it definitely can have a huge impact in a standalone given your number. The other thing I'd mention, it's always, not that it's the only way to think about things, but it's definitely the way that I think about it, is to me the most important thing at the elementary school, continuing on to middle school, is that kids enjoy coming to school. The most important metric for me is how our juniors test. That shows the health of our system. We could do things a lot differently in elementary school. We could have a lot less ukulele, a lot less art, a lot less PE, a lot less recess, a lot less field trips and things that are fun, and engaging students, making them want to come to school. But in my mind, certainly academics are important. Certainly we want our kids reading, by the time they get to third grade, but it's most important that they enjoy school. If they enjoy school, continue to come, we feel like we can get them to where they need to be as juniors and seniors. Let's see. I do want to touch base quickly on outdoor school, mostly just for the board. Just a reminder, our policies and practices around this topic follow state law. It's that simple. We're following state law. If we had some kind of different arrangement where we said transgender fifth graders couldn't participate, they had to stay in their own cabinet, transgender outdoor schools couldn't participate, couldn't be treated like everybody else, we'd be violating the law. What would violating the law do? Would they come down and arrest us? No. But you put the licenses of all the teachers and administrators running that program in jeopardy. You put the fact that we receive state funding from the state of Oregon in jeopardy. And maybe most importantly, almost immediately, we'd be put in legal liability where we would be sued for not following state law. In the late 2000s, 2007 or so, I'm not an expert on this topic, but over the last 6-8 years, I've definitely learned a lot. That's kind of where this term gender identity came into being in the state of Oregon, and it was first addressed in things like employment and housing, and expanded over the years until 2021. The Oregon State Legislature passed a law that in any statute, in any Oregon State statute, which is law, uses the term sexual orientation, they added gender identity. So our policies and practice follow state law. At the same time, it's it isn't, I don't think, contrary to that, to acknowledge that for some folks, this can be a tough issue and they wrestle with it. When that is brought to our attention, like it has been with a few families this year, we have around 100 kids, fifth graders that are going to outdoor school. I believe that as of today, we've had 14 families request to have their cabin assignment adjusted or take into consideration their desire, that we can acknowledge that and say, we're gonna try and support you as well. First week of May, I think the counselors and the teachers are gonna do cabin assignments. And we've told parents that have made that request by May 9th, we'll inform you that we were able to meet that request. And then we're gonna go have a great outdoor school. So I just want to reiterate, what our policy and practice is, why we do that. And it isn't just because of the law, it's also because one of our basic tenets is to support all students. At the same time, this is the law. If the law was different, we'd be doing something different. So does the board have any questions on that topic?
So I just want to understand, the language is, I wonder if some of the rhetoric is because you're not saying we will accommodate all requests, but we're saying
I'd expect, I can't.
Probably will. I'm not sure exactly.
If I was talking, I haven't spoken to any parents about this up till, I think before today, I received one email that wasn't sent to me, but that I was CC'd on this topic. Today I got 6 or 7. I guess, my response to a parent was, why can't you guarantee that? And I can't guarantee the sun's coming up tomorrow. But
okay,
I want to fulfill those parents' needs. If we get to May 9th, and for some unforeseen circumstance, we weren't able to meet one of those parents' needs, I'd be disappointed, and I'd try to problem solve that, but that's the plan.
thank you. I just wanted to be sure that everyone heard that.
I do have something I want to say, and
Sure.
you don't have to talk about it now. You can wait until closing comments to be able to do that. Okay. But so what I'm hearing, and that's why I asked you to please repeat that. And then from JT, what I'm hearing is a lot of hate. But when I'm talking to people, I'm actually not hearing that. What I'm hearing is that they're concerned for the kids. In this case, they're concerned for the younger kids. So I can't wrap my head around, this is twice now. There was a outdoor school meeting and a question was asked in regard to this subject. There was 3 questions. When somebody asked a question, it was answered beautifully. Somebody else asked a question, answered beautifully. And then another parent asked a question, and it was about this subject. And how do I say this nicely? It wasn't that they were blindsided, but it wasn't even addressed. What they said was that is going to be in the next newsletter. After you get done reading it, if you have any questions, you contact somebody. One of my besides the kids, okay? I mean, as far as a high schooler, in my opinion, they can do and be pretty much whatever they want. When they're adults, they can go for it, okay? But as far as the kids, fifth grade, and we have the Benita and Elmira Elementary, I apologize, but I don't think the concern is the student, the high school student. I think the concern is the elementary school students. We're always saying, how do we keep our students safe? This is a very crazy topic to go through because we should be loving and we should be abiding to everybody. I'm very big, and everybody that knows me, that all students, it doesn't matter, black hair, brown hair, gold hair, it does not matter, that should not matter, okay? So I would like to talk, we can talk now, or we can do it at the closing comments, okay? But I think it's important to hear actually everybody that has something to say about this. And I don't think that we should ever just wipe anything under the carpet. I think we, as a board and as a school district, responsible for our teachers, our families, our kids, that we should be transparent and be willing to listen to everybody about everything.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone was saying we weren't willing to listen, but we do have guidelines. And if everyone in this room chose to come in today and speak without submitting their paperwork in a timely manner, what would happen? Do I say yes to one and no to the other because now we're running out of time?
So respectfully,
Please understand that's our guideline. And as a board, we all agree to support that guideline.
and respectfully, am I able to talk now?
Everyone has gotten an announcement, it's on the board, they know when our meetings are held, they know this topic is coming up because everybody's talking about it. So we don't need to wait for the last minute to get our notice in, right?
Right.
It's on that person's own responsibility to meet the timeline.
Absolutely.
And like I say, if it was in at 1, we would have heard her. Was it in at 1? No.
Do you know the circumstances?
I don't care.
I'm getting that.
I don't care.
I'm getting that.
I don't care because everyone here will have a different reason and I cannot be specific and say, oh, your reason is valid and yours isn't.
It's just board policy.
It is board policy.
It is board policy, but the board is here. We have a majority here, okay? We are all here. We have
Okay.
4, right? In my
It's
excuse me,
the same for everyone. Anyone who came in and their notice was not in on time would have said no.
And not have you even respect me.
I'm listening to you.
You weren't listening. You just started talking again.
Okay, what else do you need to say? Because you're saying the same thing.
No, this is gonna be different.
Okay, go for it.
Okay, what I heard from you, our chair, okay, is you shot her down. You didn't even care, and that's what you said. What the reason was or what happened.
It doesn't matter.
But
It doesn't matter if it's because it's Jessica or it could be Mary or whomever.
It doesn't
It doesn't
matter.
matter. It does not matter. It was not in at 1 o'clock. And if everyone came in and said, I had a reason why my notice was not in, I would then have to say yes to everyone. And then we're not in a position to say yes to everyone speaking. Do you understand what I'm saying? If everyone came in and said, oh, my computer broke or whatever, and Jessica spoke and someone else wanted to speak, I would have to let that person speak also because now it's a favoritism. So now we're saying, was it in? Bree, was it in at 1? It wasn't in at 1. And it doesn't matter whom came in and say, I want to speak. It was not in at 1. So I cannot let Jessica speak and then Mary or whomever wants to speak because they had a valid reason too. I agree, her reason may be valid, but I do not care what the reason is because I would have to care about each and everyone's reason. And we're not at liberty to do that.
And I would also go toward to Kathleen Pizzola's comment to me last meeting about how we need to keep policies, period.
I'm good with that. Then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a motion and I'm going to move that the board has a work session so that we are able to hear any community members that have anything to say before the due date that they're making assignments. The other thing is, if it's something that the board is going to say they don't want to listen to the community, then I'm going to see if Mr. Carpenter would be willing to sit down and have that time.
And Mr. Carpenter has always said his door is open. He has said that.
I know that.
So any parent, anyone in the community wishes to speak about this topic, access to do so. He has always said that. Okay, and I am not saying I do not want to hear the community. That's who I serve. But a community is an obligation to follow our guidelines, right?
Yes.
And that is not what happened today. So my saying I don't care just says, it doesn't matter what her reason is. As it doesn't
It's
matter.
clear.
Her reason is valid in her way. It could be valid across the board, but I cannot make an exception for one without making it for all.
I've already said I understand. You don't have to tell me.
Okay, so at this point, are we able to move forward?
Well, what I like to do is, make a motion. I like to move that we schedule a work session.
We can request that at the end, I believe.
Okay, I
Okay.
agree for the comments.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
First, this reading. We have a few topics up for first reading. Any,
First one is, as you recall, this time of year, so we'll finalize. Next time, maybe just double check these dates, typical monthly board meetings. We've inserted, superintendent check-ins, kind of what we did this year. The board retreat looks like tentatively Monday, July 28th, so that's the, if not all day thing, most of the day thing. So don't need any action now, look this over between now and May. And if there's any conflicts, maybe email if you had any conflicts, ahead of the May meeting, and we could adjust it.
we have.
Oh, yeah, so, we had our first and second reading on this, and I mentioned that I might come back to you with a slight change, which we did. This year, November 11th, is Veterans Day, so no school. So in the final approved calendar, we had school Monday, no school Tuesday. What we did was we took a different no school day. I wanna say it was October 10th, maybe? Yeah, so October 10th, we had a work sample teacher planning day. And instead we made October 10th a regular school day and moved that teacher planning day to November 10th. So it'll be a 4-day weekend versus a weekend, Monday school, Tuesday no school. And October 10th will now be a school day instead of a work sample day. So looking for a motion to make that one adjustment, and then we'll get this posted and out to families this week.
I'll make a motion to approve the proposed public calendar revision for 25-26.
I'll second.
We have a motion in the second. Lisa, did you have a question on that?
I'm just wondering if I'm reading this right. I did hear you say October 10th. That you're gonna switch that. October 10th is already a regular day, if I'm looking at this right?
Well, it is that. On the last one that you approved, it was a work sample day. And now it's been switched to a school day. And that work sample day was moved to November 10th.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions on that? Okay, all in favor of this change?
Aye.
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 We have 5 ayes.
Oh, so next up, as you recall, I've shared this, I shared.
Hold on, the
uh,
first reading of policies first.
Oh,
and then it's
first
after
reading,
that.
okay.
Sorry.
So these are all minor updates. If you have any questions over the next month, our first readings to these, none of them were significant. Any questions, shoot me an email. We'll have our second reading in May to approve it. If that's what is recommended by OSBA. These are the second readings of the ones we had last month that were first readings.
These need board approval.
Yes.
Okay. Were we able to go through these? Did we go through that? Okay. Then we have a motion and we can approve all at once.
Yeah.
And we have a motion to approve the second readings.
I'll move that we approve the second readings of the proposed policy updates.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussions regarding either one?
I have discussion, please.
Go ahead.
So this is gonna be somewhat under the same, but under the federal law with Title IX. I mean, it's clear, you may not discriminate on the basis of sex. Gender identity.
Can you identify which policy you're looking at? Lisa?
Oh, well, I can.
Okay, just continue. We need
Okay,
to go down.
okay. Gender identity federally has been removed from Title IX. Okay, when it's talking about discrimination, at first I'm thinking to myself, no, you don't discriminate, it doesn't matter, okay? But then you do sometimes. You know, if there's a teacher that's not qualified to actually teach our students, they're discriminated against, okay? If we have a high school student and they want to be superintendent, we aren't discriminating against that, okay? If there is an IA or an assistant or something like that, and it is a child abuser, it is our responsibility to be discriminatory about that. That is our job. And it really seems to me tonight, listening to so much, I'm really feeling that we're not doing our job. And I really hate to say that because I'm here for a real purpose. So with that being said, I tonight will be voting no on AC, non-discrimination and civil rights.
Thank you. Still need to take a vote. So all in favor of
We want to do them
approving?
separately then if she's objecting to one or just keep them as together.
I'll keep them together because chances are they all have some level of discrimination in here.
That's great.
All in favor of approving the second readings?
Aye.
Kathleen?
Excuse me. I'll wait.
Kathleen, are you voting?
Sorry, nay.
Okay, and we have aye, so 3 and your nay.
So what I would like to say now is.
Are you nay? You're saying you're nay, right? We need a count, so.
Right.
So you're not-
I'm trying to explain to you.
You did already, so now you need to vote. We voted. We're in the process of voting, so you need to say what it is. You can speak afterwards if you want. There's no explanation. You already shared your discussion, what your thoughts were.
Well, I would like to respond to a comment I heard you two make.
We just voted.
No, before then, there are 1, 2, 3, 4.
But I asked you to point out which one you were speaking about and you could not get it, so we say just speak in general and you went ahead.
Barbara,
You chose one to.
Are you a board member?
no, but I'm listening.
Okay, and that's your job to listen. We are the board members. Please be respectful. When I asked you which one in particular you were speaking, did you identify a specific policy? I did not hear you. If you
Yes,
did.
I did.
You did?
I did.
Which
AC.
one? Okay, sorry, I did not hear that. I thought you weren't sure, so we proceeded. So what is it about AC that you're wanting to speak about? I'm not trying to be difficult. I didn't hear you said, I thought you put your papers down.
She said it later after you asked the question. She said
She
AC
put her
after.
paper down and.
Exactly, it was said, she said it after
Okay.
that, yeah.
All right, so what is it you want to speak about now? Because you're saying nay to just AC or nay to everything?
Nay to AC.
Okay, so in that case, we need to,
The motion was for all, so we can fix it if we want to. We would have to vote and then there would be there'd have to be another motion made to do it differently.
okay,
Okay, well, it seems like we voted, so I would like to make a motion that we go back and
voting.
Do them individually.
do them individually.
Okay. So we have a motion to step back, let's vote, do we have a second on that?
Second, that we do revote, yes, on them individually.
Okay, all right. All in favor of voting individually?
Aye.
Aye.
Kathleen?
Aye.
I think we have 5. Okay. All right, let's go through each one.
I'll make a motion to approve ACG1 update.
Do we have a second on that?
Yes, I will second that.
So we have a motion and a second. Any discussion around that?
May I ask a question?
Sure.
So you said it was your job as.
Hold on, I have to say this to you. Are you asking me a question or are you asking the board?
I'm directing this at you
Okay.
based on your previous comment.
Okay.
You said it's your job to discriminate in the hiring process.
No, that's not what I said at all. It's the superintendent's job for hiring process. What I did say is that we would be discriminating if we allowed, say, a child abuser to work in the district. That's what I said.
But that is not what's involved in this policy, so I am confused.
It was an example. All four of them were examples.
Because the examples you brought up were things that would inhibit someone's ability to do a job. And then what this policy is about things that do not influence a job and how the district cannot discriminate against those identities that do not discriminate or that do not inhibit the carrying out of a job. And then what you described was different things that would inhibit the carrying out of that job because they would be unqualified or it would be inappropriate.
Right.
So I'm confused what connection you're trying to make.
I'm trying to I was just doing a connection between when it's okay to discriminate and when it's not okay to discriminate. I would never think you would say it's okay to discriminate, but it actually is.
Based on qualifications.
Qualifications, yes. No, well, hold on. It's going to depend. It's going to depend on a lot of things, but qualifications is one of them.
Yes.
Yes.
But qualifications are not listed in this policy.
That's okay, there should be many things that people have to qualify for.
So. I guess my point is that if by voting no, you would be saying that it should be okay to discriminate based on the things explicitly listed here.
Saying that under the federal law, in regards to Title IX, it says that you may not discriminate on the basis of sex,
Yes.
okay? And what I did is gave you reasons why, what would be appropriate to discriminate, okay? Sex doesn't have anything to do with it.
I'm trying to connect them. So you're caught up on the part about discriminating based on sex?
No, I'm not. I'm really caught up on sexual orientation and gender identity.
So you think those should be allowed to be discriminated against?
No, I think that those shouldn't even be a part of anything. To me, it baffles me how you can separate all these things. I don't even understand color, race, and things like that. We should not be discriminating for any purpose, and this is what I'm saying all the time.
Which is what this prevents, that discrimination from being carried out.
Right, but this is, when you're talking about gender identity, okay? You are talking, so this is a really hard subject, not for me, but it can be. You have federal and state, okay? The state law has said, do not comply with the federal, okay? The federal government made an executive order, okay? And Oregon is choosing not to comply with the federal law, okay? All I'm saying is that I don't discrimination of sex, gender, any of that things. I don't think that's right. And I definitely don't even like the gender identity and the other one that goes with it, gender identity and sexual orientation. What? No. So this is my decision, and it is because of federal and state laws. It is.
Okay, thanks for the question. At this point, we take a vote on AC
G1.
G1. G1, okay. Then we have a vote on the changes that were made. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. And Lisa had said no before, so 4-1. Thank you. Okay, next.
So.
Let's just do it separately. I'll make a motion on a GBN_JBA G1 update. I make a motion to approve that.
Do we have a second to approve this next policy?
I will second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussions, you have a question? Any discussion on this one? Okay, let's take a vote on sexual harassment. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
5 ayes. We'll take a motion on JBA_GBN.
I move that we approve JBA_GEN G1 update.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving?
Aye.
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 Aye, we have 5 ayes. Okay, last one I think we have is JF.
I'll make a motion to approve JFE G1 update.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion around this policy? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
We have 5 ayes. Thank you.
Sure, as you recall, since mid-January, been meeting with our certified association, our teachers, around bargaining their new contract, which runs out June 30th, 2025. After a dozen or so meetings, came to agreement on all elements of it. I forwarded to you last week, along with a summary of the interest statements in different language. I didn't get any questions from anyone. If you had any questions now, I can try to answer. But looking for board approval to approve the next 3-year CBA with the Fern Ridge Education Association.
Do we have any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the board 2025 through 2028 contract with the Fern Ridge Education Association.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussions?
I have a comment. So I have told this to a lot of people, but I actually haven't addressed the board. And I was able to be there and observe during the negotiations. And I just have to say, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because going in there, so your negotiations, it can go one way or the other. And you can go 1, it can go 10 plus. And I came in here not expecting anything. And what I saw was two sides actually talking, just discussing, just figuring out. They were talking about what was the best, and they're not saying this is my perception of it, okay? What they were doing is they were trying to figure out what is the best outcome that we can come up with each of these items that is going to serve the needs of all parties. And I'm still goosebumps. I mean, I'm a person like that, okay? And I just wanted to say, I just want to let everybody know that being part of that was just wonderful. And I thank you. Oh, okay, thank you too, but I thank them. And thank you, Gary.
All in favor? Thanks for that recognition.
Oh, you're welcome.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye, we have 5 ayes. All right, I think we have a couple personnel resignations, which does not require board action, so
No, the first one.
Just a teacher, one.
the license.
Yeah.
Employee resignation,
I move that we accept the resignation of Elizabeth Booth, effective June 30th.
do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. I hate to ask if we have any discussion around this, but all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5, Lucy? Did he say?
Pardon me?
Were you in favor of this resignation?
I was.
Okay, I didn't hear you, sorry. 5 ayes. Let me just have information on non-classified resignation, hiring. Okay.
And then one more
Yeah, this is.
that I did not put on the last agenda.
What's that?
This one I did not put on last month's agenda. It was supposed to be out there.
This one was probably supposed to be on last month's, but just renewing our 1 year, these employees. In the district office group, and I mentioned it in my Friday update, but in the coming weeks, you'll be getting. I'll be communicating mostly with the board chair, but we'll be finalizing the contracts with administrators and the district office group. This isn't specific to their contract, this is just renewing their contract for 1 year, 25-26.
Okay. This requires board action.
I move that we renew the district office group for 25-26.
We have a motion on, do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Motion and second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Right, we have 5 ayes. Okay. Late items, closing comments. Board community involvement, anything to share?
I did. Okay. So I'd like to go back to the discussion we had about outdoor school, and I'm just saying, board at this point, okay? I would like to figure out between us, are we just going to walk away? And this is the second time that people have asked about this outdoor schooling, and it's 2 times. So are we going to let them just walk away and just be not heard? Or are we going to make a work session to be heard? Or can we go ahead and ask the superintendent to do something? We already know he will, but I want to make this on record.
Superintendent has opened the door for any parent who has a concern to come to him.
So my question again, are we going to make a motion, or are we going to address what has happened tonight?
You can put it on a future meetings agenda. We're not gonna do that tonight, but you can request it to be on a work session or a future meeting.
Well, that's what I'm asking, a work
So
session.
you can make that, you have the pathway to request that. Let's follow it,
Okay.
okay? So we can do it in the order that it should be done. So you've made it known that you want to now follow through with that, and we'll get it on the agenda or put it in a work session,
Work session.
okay?
So I'm going to move that.
It's not a vote, we're not voting on it. So there's no moving, there's no voting. You're going to submit your request through the proper channel to request the topic be put on the work session, and that's how it's done.
Okay, excuse me, I understand that, but I do remember
We're
it.
not voting on it. It was not an
I'm not
item.
asking you to vote on it.
So at this point, you've stated it. Why are we? I'm trying to understand what you're trying to get right now in
What
this
I'm trying to
session.
get is for
Yeah.
the whole board to come together and talk about this.
Okay, and you're gonna put that in a request. You can have a work session. We can come together, all 5 of us, and we can discuss it. We're willing to meet. We're just saying put it in through the proper channel. You've already stated it. We're not making a decision here that we're gonna meet tomorrow, so put the paperwork in.
But I'm just wondering why, I mean, I understand the paperwork. I understand a lot about that, to be honest with you, but I do remember a time when we were having a discussion and one of the board members said, maybe we should move this to make it a work session. And everybody approved, and we were gonna have a work session on that topic.
And we're not saying that? Isn't that what we're saying?
No, I'm asking now for a work
We're not
session.
having a work session tonight?
No, I hope not.
Okay, then put the request in.
I just did. I verbally put the request in.
Okay, put the request
I
in.
think what she's wanting to do is, what she can do, Mark, you might be able to help me, but what I hear Lisa saying is she'd like to make a motion to have a work session next Wednesday or the Wednesday after or whatever. So I think just pick a date that you're making a proposal, make a motion, and if somebody seconds this, we'll vote.
Okay. I am going to move, let's see, May 9th. I like to move that we have a work session in regards to this topic tonight on April 30th, which is a Wednesday. I think I want to.
We have a second to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor of April 30th meeting, work session?
Aye.
Aye.
I can't make it, so I'm a no.
I'm a no.
So I do have a question. Are you a no or do you have a conflict? Two different things.
I'm a no.
No, it's not. I can't make it that night.
All right, so we can do another night.
And that's why if you put it in like we asked you to, we can all take the time to look at our schedule and get it done. Okay, I can tell you right now, for the next 2 weeks, back to back, I have events that I'm catering for. It's gonna be very challenging for me to come in after work to do that. It's not gonna happen. I have a catering on Saturday, plus a full week. Okay, so be respectful of your board members, right? And put it in so we can all take the time to look at our schedule and come up with a date that works for everyone. You want to have the conversation. We're not saying we don't want the conversation. We're just saying, give us a minute to look at our schedule and make a plan to come in. Okay?
So under policy, does it state that if I make a request, that it has to be followed through by a certain amount of time? And I get an answer? Because that request is going to go to you, yes?
It goes to me, it goes to the superintendent. It's logical that it comes through me. I'm the board chair.
How long will it be before I get?
How long did the last one take for me to respond to you?
Oh my gosh. It was a long, the last time I called you and asked you to call back, you didn't call back.
That's not true, Lisa.
Oh.
Okay, so this is not gonna be here right now. You can put the request in. Do we have any additional late comments?
Question on the table.
There's no question on the table, Lisa.
I have a question on the table.
You've stated it.
And you haven't answered it?
I am not going to
Anybody answered it?
debate with you. This is a public session here, right?
I'm not
And I'm
debating.
asking you, out of respect for your fellow board members, to follow the policy, put the information in so we can go through and look at our schedule and approve it. Now, we have everyone who is sitting here listening to you and I go through this. That's not respectful. There's no need for that, right? And you have a policy, you have a process to get the same thing that you're looking to get done. So why are we making this debate happening right here?
Because Barbara, you keep talking about it over and over.
I'm talking about it because you're talking about it, Lisa.
My question was, her policy,
Okay,
how
do
many
we
days
have
do you
any
have to get
additional?
back to me when I make?
You wanna sit there and send me the email now? Send me the email.
No, I'm just asking you a question.
Just send me the email, Lisa. Send me the email. I've been up since 5:30. I would like to go home. Send me the email, please. Be respectful. Send me the email. That's all I'm asking you to do.
Okay,
Please.
let me ask you this.
And we can stop after. You and I can stay here and talk. Let's get
I'm good
it
with
one
that.
out,
I'm good with
okay?
that.
I'll stay with you. Okay, let's get it done. All right, anything else? You wanna stay, we'll stay and talk through it. Anything else? We have a couple upcoming events you guys can partake of. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your patience. I do apologize that you've seen us at our worst, but it's human nature and we gotta get through it. So thank you again.
But at the same time, they've seen us at their best.
Me too.
Not tonight, but they have.